I just finished doing another bit of editing, and I didn't expect to do it as easy as I did. So I've had to come back out here and put, because I split the video 3 ways, to do another intro. So right now we're doing part Sim1, part 3 of 3. I hope you enjoyed the video so far, and that manifold that we just lifted on the last one, it was bloody heavy. Okay, so let's get back to the video and continue on. Thanks for watching. I think I can. Okay, I don't want to wreck that. So clearly it's all out of the way now. Yeah. Okay, up we go. Ooh, right. Well, all I've got to say is that was a good time to turn the camera back on. Yeah, it was pretty heavy. Now we don't need that anymore either. So there's the exhaust gasket in there, and with the shield. So we'll take that off as well. That crustiness I was talking about before, clearly there's a leak just here. It's, you know, it's quite wet just here. Crusty from, what's that, leaves. Anyway, that is that side all taken off. So we'll put this with the exhaust. Now, the exhaust we probably won't put in the car because this is a little oily, but I will put that to one side. So I'm just going to pause for a moment, reassess, and we'll take it from there. Okay, just while I'm here, things like, see this hose here. Now, it's got some corrosion on it, and this is clearly a water pipe of some sort. And do you know how hard this would be to replace later on? And while we're also here, we can check those out. Now, I do know this engine, it overheated because of the thermostat, but when it did get hot, it blew one of these pipes out. So if you can, while you're here and you've got good access, you should probably replace these as well. So it doesn't look the best. If I replace it now, it's got a good 100,000 Ks before it gives me any more problems with anything like that. The hoses up above where you can get to, I don't have any issue with because you can replace them at any time. But these ones here, well, you've seen all the trouble it's taken to get the exhaust manifold off. You would have to do all that again just to get to this next time. It's not a job you really want to do. So for the sake of, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, $50, we're going to replace that part too. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to worry about what's next. So I'll move the camera. So the whole point of pulling this engine down is we've done the gasket between the head and the block down here, which basically runs right along that line there. So we have to replace, get the head off this engine. Now, what do we got to do next? Well, we got to get working on getting the rocket cover off. So to do that, we've got to release all this stuff up here as well. So before we do anything else, I'm going to take a couple of photos of bits and pieces like this. Why? Because when it goes to come back on, I'm going to wonder, was it the green left and the yellow right, or the yellow left and the green right? And this will just take some of the confusion out of it. Hopefully I won't touch any of these other ones. It's had some aftermarket wiring done on here because of this gas conversion. Things like this will have to come off, that gas conversion will have to come off so I can actually get to some of the stuff on here, because I think there's some bolted stuff underneath that I can't get to, which is not so bad, I don't think. Probably the hardest one's going to be is getting that off. But again, I don't really know where the other end of the hose goes, so we're just going to have to tackle this one bit at a time. And for the starters, we need to take these off as well, because we've got to take the inlet manifold off. So that was the outlet, and this is the inlet. So we'll have to take these off. Some of these clips all clip on different ways, and they've just got like little, it's got like a little button at the other end. You press that and pull it up, but you've got to be really careful because you don't want to break them. So for the time being, I think what we're going to do is work on taking some of this little stuff off the gas hose, which doesn't really matter because there's a gas turn off down here. So we're down underneath the car. It has on and off. We'll just turn that all the way to off. So we'll be undo the gas line. We're not going to have gas spewing out all over the place. It's got 3/4 of a tank, so it's got quite a lot of gas in there. So that's all the way off. We're not going to disconnect nothing here. We're going to do it on the actual engine itself. So let's start taking some of this stuff off. No particular order. Let's see now. We've got to get that off. Some of these clips are not easy, which is why I like to use the pointy nose pliers, just so I can press the button if I can and pull it up at the same time. They're not easy, that's for sure. Let's see what we can do here. Press the button and there you go, it's up. See, just like that. As long as you press the button, it'll release. And they all kind of have one on there. It's just a matter of knowing which way the button is. I think this one here is the same. You press this one and then you pull, and again, pointy nose pliers is good for this because you can get the button and that in one hit and release. Okay, so those go together. They're out of the way. And while we're at it, let's get this one off as well. Probably the wrong tool, but it still works. Now these, you want to crack the rubber, because the rubber after 20 years would have grabbed. There we go, we've released it. Take the rubber off and away we go. So that is now free. That can stay with the inlet manifold. These can stay on here as well. Let's work on this. What's that? That's about a 12 to 14. Got the 14 already here. We don't want to change the adjustment, so we can take the back side off to loosen that up. And that way we don't actually lose any adjustment. And then that will allow that to become free, and we still know exactly where it needs to be. If you wanted to, just so you know, you could probably mark the top of that bolt to sort of say that's the top. There you go. So what I'm going to have to do is get an Allen key and take that off. Again, I'd like to mark that somehow so we know exactly where it goes back on afterwards, although it's pretty slack. This is for the cruise control. Now the cruise control has always worked on this car, but I did notice in the last drive it did not work. And I'd really like it to keep working. So that looks like a grub screw of some sort. We'll take the grub screw out of that and I'll get set up with it. Or better still, we can actually just roll that around and just undo him like that and take him all off in one piece. that way we don't have to adjust anything. So is that's already off. We'll have to do the same with this one. We don't want to lose the adjustment, although we can unscrew this one from here and not undo any adjustments, so let's do that. Okay, I'm all set up now. It is starting to get rather warm, so I've just put the aircon on inside. So I do need a break. It's a little bit cooler to cool off in. We just cracked that one. Let's see if we can crack this one as well. Yep, done that. Okay. Luckily for me, these are coming out fairly easy. Now again, I don't like to lose stuff, and I'm not going to make a baggage for these because the baggage won't tell me much of what's going on. So just for the moment, I'll take that one off and put him there. That one off. It's a little more. Yeah, that's better. So he's coming off too. So that'll put that cabling right out of the way. As a matter of fact, because we're doing that, let's put him back on that little spot there. Let's do him up so they're kind of together, and let's just take that one out, and let's move that right out the way all in one hit. So that's right out the way. Now, while those bolts are out of the way, that leads out of the way, so we don't lose them, let's put them back in. Just so we don't lose it, really. Now, I'm tightening up just so they don't come loose. Right, so that's these wires off, that's off, that's now out of the way. We really need to get the gas converter out of the way. We've already turned the gas off, so let's undo it from here, and I'll move you. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing now. Okay, we've got 16 on here. That should be a spinning piece, so we shouldn't really need too much to crack that. I expected the air to come out of the line, because that's under full pressure all the way in here, and then the shut-off valve cuts it off. So if we've shut this off correctly, that should stop. Be a little careful, it is still gas. And it's only in the line from here in the shut-off. It's under a lot of pressure, so there's quite a lot in there. Let's go a bit more. And as suspected, it's now shutting off. Okay, so we'll take that off. Now, he is over here. Just touch it so I can see. There's a nut on there holding that with some wiring and stuff. So let's get that out of the way as well. So we'll need a flat screwdriver bigger than the one I've already got. So I'll just pause you there. Okay, so let's take this one off. Yep, that'll work. And again, we just want to take the clamp off, get him out the way, and so you don't lose the screw, put the screw back. This will have to be pulled down just to see if there's any damage done when the engine blew, because I did get the engine going, and it was running, but I could not run it on gas. This car had not run on petrol for a long time, so to get it going I had to fix the whole petrol side of it as well. So they're kind of out of the way, and I'm not really going to worry about all that too much more. what do we have here? We have, oh, that's those wires I was telling you about that may have to come off. Like some of these have to come off. So this is where we get the camera out and we'll take some photographs of here. We'll have to unclip some of those, I would imagine. I think the next trick is to try and get this converter off. It's got a heater hose on here, so that's water in, water out to stop these from freezing. So we'll have to get to those as well. So I'll pause it here and I'll just sort of work out where I'm going next. So I've just undone these two clips here, one and this one. Now what I am noticing is, looks to be an aftermarket wire from here going underneath, and this one looks like it's been added in there too. Is also going underneath there. I'm not really sure where they go. So that thick one here, that goes all the way up to under here, and this is what I was saying before, that you have to take notice of where some of the stuff goes. So that thick wire comes all the way up, and that is a red and a black wire. So that goes the red to the back, the black to the front. Looks like only 2 pins, so that'll have to be undone and pulled through. And the other one is a skinny little wire, but I believe that could be that wire. Yeah, that is those two there. So that'll have to be taken out too to release this wiring loom, which should really be removed anyway, to get all these out of the way. But now we know where they go. We can trace them all the way back. I'll take a photo of that one up there. I've already taken a photo of this, just so we know in the future where they go. Taking photographs of these two, even though I think they're different clips, so it shouldn't really matter, or are they the same clip? I know they're different clips. Anyway, just in case they were the same, I was taking a quick photograph of more so the wire direction, so I know the green and brown goes in there and white and brown go into there, because we need to remove this whole wiring loom out of the way. So we're almost there now for this. Oh, it looks like there's another little sensor down here. I'm going to take him off as well. So do that. I had trouble taking this one off. I was looking going, where's the clip? And after I unclipped it from here, there's the clip on the back. So this one clips in from behind. Again, doesn't really matter because I just really need these out the way. And the only thing really holding this here now is those couple of wires, so we need to take them off and get them out the way. I'll take the red and the black off down the back there, feed those through, and we'll get them out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in for a little bit of a catch up. So all these wires are now undone, except for this one wire just here. Now, this seems to go up, travel through under the throttle body here, and kind of comes out and kind of joins in there together. So this wire is not going to be so easy to get out of the way. Now, I've got a couple of choices here. I can cut the wire and rejoin it, open up a knot. Although it's not a hard wire to rejoin. Because I'm pretty sure I've got to get this throttle body off anyway to get access to some of these bolts and bits and pieces. Don't really know, there's an awful lot of stuff going on in there. And this side is not going to be easy as the other side, although some of these bolts are not so bad to get to. But yeah, And I still got to get the converter off, which is basically bolted on from under here, and there's one on the other side down there. And then we've got to get to some of these cables and stuff. Basically, I can't see what's going on over there, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to undo the throttle body anyway. So I might take that off, and there's 4 bolts holding this throttle body on. There's a cable up here, and that'll give me some insight to see what's actually going on. And yeah, this is just how you do it. You just basically, you make room, or you see what's going on, and you just do it one little bit at a time. So I'll work on getting that off. Okay, now I've got myself kind of set up. I'll just work on cracking these first. So I'll do the easy one. Let's crack that. Yep, one. There's one underneath here. Not so hard to get to. 2. Should be one on the other side. It's going to be very hard to get to. I need another extension. So where are we down there? So that wire is kind of a little bit in the way there for that one. Let's go. If I can, I'm going to take that one all the way out because it's difficult for me to get to. Now, this may or may not be the right move, but I do need access. There's hoses and all kinds of stuff for the converter. So, and it's 4 bolts. I mean, how hard can it be to get it out of my way? Let's do a bit more of that by hand. Maybe not. It looks like there's 2 bolts and there's actually 2 nuts. So this is a bolt. Now, when we took that exhaust manifold off, we did lose the nut. That's the only one we've lost so far, and we may find it, but if not, I mean not a nut, we lost the washer. So worst case scenario, can't find another washer. I've got others there the same size and we can do that. Now, are you going to come out? Are you out? Oh, he's kind of out. Let me get the magnet. Now, I do think it's out, but oh, come here. Nope, not there either. Let's go in this way. Bolt. Thank you. Yeah, that's why magnets are good, like that. And that's why I took him out first, because he did seem to be one of the hardest. We should probably, I was going to say, let's take that one off, but I don't really want to lose it. So what I might do in a minute is tighten him up on there a bit more. I think we're going to have the same kind of problem with this one here, but I got a little bit more access to this one. Is he out? Don't know. Nope. Yeah. That way you can't drop it. Now, before I go any further, we do have to take this off. Can you undo that one like that? You might have to undo these two as well. Hang on, let's undo those. Oh God, they've never been off. Oh, yeah. Again, be careful not to drop the bolt, washers, or anything else. Put that to one side just for the moment. So far everything is all bagged up and roughly with everything else that it needs to be with. So now again, when I remove this throttle body, I can put that one back now actually. Let's do that, just so we don't lose them. And I'll do the same with the other one. Not super tight, because it does not have a clip underneath it, so yeah. Now I don't know if this is supposed to unclip, turn off. I don't know how much thread there is in there to turn all that off. I don't have to break it either. Now what I also did do is I cracked the where it was supposed to go just to loosen it, but that is supposed to be the right side up. So again, let's set that one to there and that one to there, so we know in the future that's the right side up. Yeah, how much wire turning can you get out of this? Don't really know. Hopefully enough to the end. Otherwise we're going to be in trouble. We're nearly there. Yeah, got it. Okay, so that's out of the way. Let's undo that hose there. I'll get the big pliers for that. These are my preferred ones for undoing stuff like this. And again, I just peel it back past its actual point. Come on. No, now you're going to play funny buggers. I need to go back a little more. And a little more, if you don't mind. That's better. Yeah, that's it. See, once you get past the nub, now crack the seal, just give it a small turn, and push in backwards as we do it. Let's grab it from the front, push back. God, kind of wants to go. There we go. Okay. I tell you what, that doesn't look the very best. Doesn't. So, not really sure where he goes. I do believe this is coming off the line that actually broke. Now, we've still got to get a couple more things off here. This throttle body. Let's undo the screw at the back of this one. And again, these aren't bolts now, these are just nuts. So let's undo that one and leave the easiest one till last. Let's take that off. Oh, dropped it, but it didn't go down. But we'll get the magnet. I was wondering whether it was going to be a little difficult. Let's go gadget. Nut. Thank you. Now that's the hardest ones. And the front one should be the easiest one. Yeah, I'll just pause you there for a second. Okay, I'll pause for a message. Let's see now. That's already cracked, so that may come out on its own. Let's have a look. Now, I do expect this to move, but not too much. Okay, there's no washers behind those. Now, while we're here, so we don't lose that one, let's do that, tighten him up just a little bit. Let's actually take him right off. Don't really need him on there. It's kind of in the way, it's not where you can really confuse what that is. Let's take him undone a bit more. Okay, that's got plenty of room in it now. Okay, now we've got a bit more room. Put him to one side. Right, so what do we got here? I'm kind of hanging on to this. Don't really know. I know we got a hose down here. And I really do believe this has got to come off to get to some of the hoses and the clamps on that. So the Y is just out of the way. Let's move those out the way. Can you come forward? I mean, you've got to come forward a long way. It's not going to come forward enough to get bypass that. So how am I going to get to that? I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there's a little, all this has got to come forward, but it can't because of that. So we can't, well, we could probably undo that and turn it around, get it out the way. And then we've got obviously a hose down here, and we've got some wiring in there which we should be able to get to once the throttle body's out of the way. So I'll try and move that clamp.